So as you all might know, Epic Games and Apple are sort of at a pretty hard fist fight right now about the whole Epic Games wanting to circumvent the 30% cut Apple takes from purchases made on the App Store. And apparently they also want to be able to release their own App Store on iOS, which is quite interesting. Now, if you look at the way Epic portrays themselves in this situation, they kind of take on that role of this how would you call it, of this fighter for justice, right? They want to make Apple, they want to force Apple to open up their platform, right? They want to take away the barrier that Apple creates, even though you might say the real motivation behind it are actually a little bit less how would you call it, damn it, fuck, this is one. Benevolent. Even though it might actually turn out that the reasons behind all this are less benevolent than Epic actually wants you to believe they are. Now, if you look at stuff like this, the join the battle and play in the free Fortnite Cup on the Epic Games website, you can clearly see that this isn't just a knee-jerk reaction of Epic, right? They pretty much planned this whole campaign pretty much from the get-go, and they totally are willing to weaponize the huge community that Fortnite has to push through their goals. Now, as it turns out, however, Epic might have just lied a little bit about the true motivations behind it, because as it turned out, Tim Sweeney himself apparently wrote some emails to Apple where they actually ask for like a special deal for Epic to allow to provide their own payment method in Fortnite, which circumvents the 30% cut Apple gets, and also to host their own app store. Now there's this news article on CNBC. I'm not going to read all of this, but let's just have a look at what's actually going on. So on August 14, Tim Sweeney wrote on Twitter, "Today Apple said Epic is seeking a special deal, but that's not true. We are fighting for open platforms and policy changes equally benefiting all developers, and it'd be a hell of a fight." True. Epic totally has the money to put on the fight. Epic has the community, the players that want to badly play Fortnite, right? So there's probably going to be a couple million people on iOS who can't play Fortnite right now, or won't be able in the near future because they can't update their service. And interestingly enough, Apple now has provided some emails that Tim Sweeney apparently wrote to Tim Cook and other Apple executives. So let's have a look at what it says. So on June 30th, 2020, Epic CEO Tim Sweeney wrote my colleagues and me an email asking for a side letter from Apple that would create a special deal for only Epic that would fundamentally change the way in which Epic offers apps on Apple's iOS platform. Former Apple Senior Vice President Phil Schiller wrote in a declaration. Schiller, whose title is now Fellow, runs Apple's App Store. Apple said Sweeney was asking for permission for Epic to bypass in-app purchases and allow Fortnite players to pay it directly, as well as permissions to launch a third-party app store for iPhones. Schiller said that Sweeney emailed him the morning that Fortnite changed its payment mechanism, saying that it will no longer adhere to Apple's payment processing restrictions. Because of restrictions imposed by Apple, Epic is unable to provide consumers with certain features in our iOS apps. Sweeney wrote in the June 30 email titled Consumer Choice and Competition produced by Apple. It was sent to Apple CEO Tim Cook, as well as Schiller and other top Apple executives. Apple would need to provide a side letter or alter its contracts and standards documents to remove such restrictions to allow Epic to provide a competing App Store and competing payment processing option to iOS customers. It continued, although the letter did not note that, we hope that Apple will also make these options equally available to all iOS developers. So, they say they pretty much added it like as a side note. Well, would be cool if they added it for all iOS developers, but mostly we are actually interested in our own stuff. And that's kind of what this whole situation boils down to, is that Epic wants to force their way into Apple's infrastructure, right? And to be honest, I'm not really sure if I support that or not. Like, I'm not an iOS user. I think people that use Apple products are pretty dumb. They waste a lot of money in their lives. But it's their freaking life choice. And Apple, as the company that produces this shitty infrastructure and how'd you call it? Damn it, I'm blank for words. That produces this kind of infrastructure pretty much is in their own home, right? It's like their home turf, so they can pretty much do what they want. So what this means is, if Apple, which, I mean, look at it this way, Apple actually provides services, right? They handle all the payment for you. They provide a platform where your app can actually be found by millions of people and downloaded, and it certainly is a win-win situation. Now, it's arguable that the 30% cut is way too high. I would totally agree with that, but that's just how it is. That's totally in the right of Apple to do. So if developers actually want to apply pressure to Apple, all they really could do, is to not produce software for Apple, so that Apple loses out on stuff, right? As long as it's like a relationship where both sides pay into it, Apple will be fine. And that's like the big issue that I have with that. If Epic actually would be able to provide their own app store and their own payment method, Apple pretty much only loses out on it, right? They don't make a cent of money out of that. And I totally get behind why they wouldn't want to do that. And I also don't think that there are like any antitrust or like monopolization issues going on there. It's just it's their platform, it's their ecosystem. That was the word I was looking for, ecosystem, and they can pretty much do with it what they want. And if Epic wants to have their own app store and their own payment methods on iOS, tough luck. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Now, the real shitty thing about this is that Epic actually portrays themselves as like this benevolent entity that now takes the fight to Apple and does all these things for the small, for the player and for the small iOS developer. Right? And that's just not true. All they want to do is make more money. I would assume that there's probably hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars that they make on iOS with Fortnite. And if they can get rid of that 30% cut, that would make them so much more money, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So don't be a fucking sheep. Don't simp out for Epic Games. Just be real. It's like two greedy corporations fighting for money, and that's pretty much all there is to it. In my opinion, the reasonable thing for Epic to do is would be to just ask for a better deal, right? Lower the cut. Just take 10% of our money. We still make so much money that you will still pretty much earn free money. So just take 10%, and that would be like a reasonable thing to do. Everything else is blown way out of proportion, and I think that's Apple actually, even though I pretty much hate Apple I think they're totally in the right, and I also don't think that there are actually like any judge would ever rule like anything else. Google decided to make Android an open platform. Apple decided to make pretty much everything they do a closed ecosystem. You can only get in there through Apple, and everything you do there has to go through Apple, and everything you pay money for pretty much gives money to Apple, and that's their business model. And that's I mean, there must be something good about it, right? Otherwise people wouldn't be doing it. Also, people actually don't really care about that. Like, if you're a player of Fortnite and you buy V-Bucks for $10, you don't really care how much of that goes to Apple and how much goes to Epic, right? You just want to play your fucking game. And Epic is now actively harming their consumers because they pretty much knew from the get-go that they would get kicked out of the App Store. And now they want to blame that on Apple, while they actually took that risk wholeheartedly and willingly. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So yeah, I'm really curious on how this is going to end. I'm not an expert on American law and stuff like that, but I would be really surprised if Epic actually got their way. As I said, I think that they will end up striking a deal where they have like lower cuts. I don't think that Apple is ever going to allow any other app store than the iOS app store, and I'm also not seeing anything other than Apple making payments on iOS. That would be like totally wild. That would be a game changer, and it would pretty much destroy a huge income source for Apple. And I can't see, even with the amount of money that Fortnite makes, I can't see them doing it. So yeah, let's all chill about it, right? Let's take a step back, take a chill pill, and pretty much acknowledge the fact that there's nothing benevolent about Epic in this situation. All they want to make is money, and that's pretty much going to be it.